Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So as a part of this video, I'm going to take a mock interview with one of my subscriber for the skill automation plus manual. Her name is Anupriya, having a total of 3 years of experience into software testing. Let's welcome her.
So after so many times, finally, I'm going to give a mock interview.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to know about your confidence level, how it is today.
Yeah, I'm full confident.
Okay, okay. So you have 3 years of experience, right?
Yes,
Okay. So you want me to conduct your mock interview for both automation as well as manual, is it so?
yes, it is.
Okay, sure. Uh, if you are confident, shall we start?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I want to hear about you. You can go ahead to introduce yourself.
All right. I am Anupriya. I am basically from Bihar, and I have a 3 years of experience in testing department, and I'm working as a software test engineer. And my responsibility here is I'm reviewing, writing, and updating the test case as per the client requirement. And I am also responsible to convert the test case to the test script by using the Selenium WebDriver. And I'm also using a Jira tool for logging the logging the defect, and also tracking the task and logging the time. Uh, yeah, these are my responsibility I'm doing.
Sure, Anupriya. Anupriya, just because you have not mentioned the year of pass out, I want to know which year pass out you are engineering.
Uh, I have completed in 2016.
Okay, sure, sure, Anu. Yeah, let's proceed then if you are totally comfortable. So I will be asking you questions. If you are comfortable answering those, you can proceed. We are proceeding now. I will be asking you questions from both automation as well as manual. Wherever you are
Mm.
comfortable answering those, you can give me the answer. Wherever you feel that I should give answer there or I should complete the full answer, you will let me know. It's totally okay if
Sure.
anywhere you're not able to answer something. That's totally okay. It's just a mock interview. So let's start.
Yeah.
Your resume is right
Okay.
next to me. I will be asking you questions, only questions from your resume and nowhere else. Shall we start?
All right.
Sure.
Yes, we can.
Sure. Uh, let's start with some automation questions first and then let's proceed to manual testing questions. Can you tell me what is constructor?
Yeah, constructor is a special type of a special type of method in a class that has some rules like constructor should have a class same as a class name, and constructor does not have any return type, and the constructor is used to constructor is used basically uh, uh, when the type of object creation. uh, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me if I have a constructor name as, let's say, MKT, how will I call them in my main class or main method? I have a main method public static void main, and let's say I have a constructor name as MKT. How will I call it? Any idea?
It should be same as a class name, right? So
Correct.
when we are creating an object, then we are passing a class name. Like class name is if a constructor name is mkt, then mkt is equal to mktm equal to new mkt. There we are calling the constructor.
Okay, got it. Just let me know whether a constructor can be both static or non-static.
About the constructor, as I know that constructor is a like a default constructor, or if constructor, I could not recall this whether it can be a static or as I know that it should be a non-static, because we have to call this constructor.
Yeah, constructors are always non-static. Always remember like this: any method in which the word static or the keyword static is missing, that is If it is static, keyword is not there, that means it is a non-static. You know the constructor, right?
Yeah.
It is same as class name. If your class name is MKT,
Yeah.
your constructor will be
Yeah.
MKT. And just because your constructor name is just MKT and not static MKT, it is a non-static. You understood, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So whatever you said, right? Creating an object and then calling it. Absolutely right answer. Can you let me know whether your constructor can be both parameterized and non-parameterized? Any idea?
Yes, it can be.
Okay. Let's say that now I have two constructor. One constructor is MKT and then another constructor as MKT, but they have one constructor is non-parameterized, another constructor is parameterized with value maybe 21. How are you going to call it? Any idea?
Value is 21. We are passing before the calling name, or we are passing like integer value. Then we can pass
Obviously,
at the time
obviously,
of call.
if it is 21, it is an integer. Just assume like that.
Yeah. Okay. For non-parameterized, I think no need to call that because it will call automatically because at the time of object creation. And for parameterized, we have to call by using and we will create another object and we have to pass as a integer value 21.
Got it. Sure, you
Same,
can do that. You can
right?
do that. Sure. You know this one, right? Driver is equal to new Chrome driver.
Yes.
It is used to launch a particular
This
browser. You are aware of this, right? I want to know what is this
yeah.
web driver? Can you let me know this?
So WebDriver is a tool which is used to automate automate the script, and it is a WebDriver is an interface and it is an open source tool we can use without any paying money.
Okay, yeah, it is an
And that
interface, is what I was
yeah
looking for.
that support multiple browsers, multiple languages to automate the script.
Okay, sure, Anupriya. Anupriya, I want to know if someone is asking you which is your favorite locator which you generally use while automating, what will be your response?
Basically, I will go with the ID
Okay,
because it is a very popular and we can easily achieve this.
okay, okay, sure. This is fine, but can you expect each application to have each element with ID?
Uh, no, we can't. Sometimes we have to use ID name also, or if ID or name is not available, we have to use XPath.
Okay, sure. Uh, can you tell me some other locators that you have?
Yeah, ID name, XPath, CSS selector, text link, partial text link,
Okay. Name, tag name, class
name,
name.
yeah, tag name, yeah.
Sure. Let me know if you have 100 test cases with you, 100 manual test cases, and I give you the job of automating each one of them without a time limit. You have multiple time, you have plenty of time to automate this. There is no time foundation. And you have 100 test cases with you to automate it. How will you proceed? Like, how will you decide that this is the first one which I will automate first, then this is the second one which I will automate next, then this is the third one which I will automate third, till
Okay.
here. How will you
Uh,
proceed?
uh, First of all, I will go through the functionality of the application, login page and whatever module. After login, which module is coming, which page is coming. Then related to that, I can say example of Facebook. Once I will automate for the functionality of login. Then I will go with the home page, whatever would be there, like a step by picking a module by module and a step by step we will go. and I've automated the test case.
Okay. So I want to understand now one thing from you. Will you automate your test cases based on modules, or you are going to automate your test cases based on the type of testing?
Yeah, type of testing is also required. First of all, I will go with a smoke test cases, like which test case were stable or not.
Okay. Sure. Is there any
Whether there
reason
is
why you will
any
automate your first smoke test cases?
because we would be knowing that there would not be any blocker or critical bug. We can automate the critical functionality of the application first of all.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, whatever
Am I
answer you're
right?
telling is absolutely correct. But I mean, absolutely correct, absolutely correct. But if anyone is asking you, you can just tell them that if any build is coming, what is the first thing that you will do? You will run the sanity test cases, right? You will run the sanity test cases to know that whether build is really acceptable or not. And there are chances that in a day you can expect minimum 5 builds from the developer side, or maybe 10 builds. So each time you will not manually test all those sanity test cases, right? What you can do is you can just run the automation script for sanity test cases, and that will only make you believe whether we should accept the build or not. And that is the reason you will first automate your sanity test cases. Is it right answer? Whatever I'm telling, do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. I want to understand how do you have ever worked on handling the drag and drop?
Uh, yes, sir. I have done, but right now I'm unable to recall that.
Okay.
Mouse movement and click and drag.
Mouse movement. Okay, that is called as hover movements. Fine, I understand that. Fine, sure. So, oh, no issue, no issue. You can practice it after this mock session. No issue. My
Yeah,
question
sure.
was whether you
I will
have
look into it.
handle drag and drop or not. It can be handled using actions class. Just told you for a reference. You can practice this after the session. No issue. I can see in your resume you have written that your role is also to do acceptance testing, right? I want to know before you proceed to do acceptance testing, what are the things you will keep in your mind?
Um, Acceptance testing. Basically, acceptance testing is done by the customer at the customer side. As soon as our application got stable, there should not be any there should not be any blocker bug. Our functionality should work properly. User should not face any kind of issue while using the application. Basically, major functionality should be work. There should not be any critical or blocker bug on the application.
I understood this part. What I'm asking is what and all things you will keep in your mind before proceeding with your acceptance testing.
Sir, I don't know about this.
Okay.
I
Uh,
will.
I
Can
think,
you answer?
yeah, sure. See, whatever you have answered, right, that is almost correct. But I wanted little detail answer on it, nothing else. See, you know what is acceptance testing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's say you are my customer now and I'm the company. You have approached me to develop a new software for your company. Let's say that I have developed the software now with my employees working, my working employees. I have developed it and now I'm giving to you. Before accepting the software, you will do acceptance testing. That is nothing but you will make sure that your business flow are working perfectly fine or not.
Yeah, I will match from the document,
Yeah, yeah,
client document,
yeah.
whether
So,
our application has been developed as per the document or not, client
yes,
requirement or not.
yes, this is what you will keep in your mind before doing acceptance testing. Nothing else. You will make sure that
Yeah.
before telling my company that yeah, software is well and good, I will make sure
Yeah.
that each and every functionalities are working perfectly fine or not. because that is a
Yeah.
time where company will give you the software and they will just go off. After that, maintenance phase do start, but it is always good, right? You will, as a customer, as a company, you will tell that this is a mistake, right? If you don't tell it, it's your loss, right?
Yeah.
So that is the reason company to accept your system.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's move to the
Yeah.
next
To checking the
question.
major functionality of the application. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Sure. Let's move to the next question then. I want to understand you. Okay, okay. I can see in your resume you have mentioned that you have worked on pop-ups, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to understand like how do you handle a JavaScript pop-up? Any idea?
JavaScript, like we are using alert function, like alert equal to alt equal to driver dot switch to dot alert, and alert having a okay and dismiss and get text functionality. Like if you want to accept any of the pop-up and want to click on OK, then we are going to write a uh, alert dot OK functionality. And if you want to click on cancel, then we are going to alert alt dot dismiss method we are going to use. And if you want to get a text, then we are using get dot text method.
Okay. No, see, let's see that you're working on some web application and let's say that JavaScript pop-up has come. How will you go from your window to that window? Any idea?
Sorry, I don't have heard about JavaScript pop-up.
Oh, okay. I just saw that you have written in your resume that you have worked on pop-up. That's the reason I asked you. No issue. See, I will tell you one more thing, Anupriya,
Okay.
for your future reference. Anywhere, if you're attending any interview, whatever the things you are mentioning in your resume, right? This is what people are going to ask you. So no issue. I mean, if you know it, well and good. If you don't know it, either change from it resume or else you can prepare that and keep that in your resume. That will be good for you. No issue. See,
Okay.
JavaScript pop-up is something that you will be working on any web application, let's say.
Yeah.
How will you identify it's a JavaScript pop-up? If that pop-up is coming, your background will become dull and only your JavaScript pop-up will be in bright in color. Now the question arises, how will I move from my existing web application to the JavaScript pop-up is driver switch to alert. That will make your driver to move from your existing application to the pop-up. And then you have two options, either to accept or dismiss. You heard about this?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I have, but right now I did not recall that.
Okay, okay. No issue, no issue, no issue, Anupriya, no issue at all. I have one more question coming in my mind now. Just let me know if you're comfortable answering that. Otherwise, we'll just proceed. Now you understood, right? There are two options, either to accept or dismiss it. Let's say that in a
Yeah.
single program, I am using both, accept and dismiss together. What will be the response? Any idea? Like, what will happen then?
Pa- Parallelly, we are using like first alt dot OK, and then we are using alt dot dismiss. Or
Together, I'm telling if I use accept and dismiss together.
any first of the function will work,
Okay.
because if either it will click on OK but OK functionality, or either will click on cancel, whatever will read right first, like OK or dismiss.
Okay. 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 I got it. But see, this is one of the basic interview questions which anyone will ask you if you're writing a pop-up thing in your resume. See, this question is very common across automation testing interviews. Believe me. So they will ask you to confuse you, right? They will ask you if I use both, accept and dismiss together, what will be the response? So it won't do anything. It will give you an exception. No alert present exception, because you have to use only one, right? Either to accept it or dismiss it. You cannot use both. See, you
Yeah.
use either true or false, right? You don't use both. So, in the same way, they say that you have to use either of them, not both. Otherwise, it will give an exception. That's fine. I think You learned it? Well and good. No issue.
Yeah.
So you have heard this, right? There are two options to close your application, either to quit or close. Driver.quit,
Yeah.
driver.close.
Yeah.
Right? I want
Yeah.
you to tell me the difference between them.
Um, by using a driver dot clause, we can close the only one window which is open by the WebDriver. And driver dot quit, by using this, we can close all the tab which is open by the WebDriver.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Fine. Just let me know whether I will give you one. You have heard about Java keywords?
Yes.
Okay. Just let me know. I will give you some keyword. Just let me know whether it belong to Java keyword or not.
Okay.
Okay. So the keyword is class.
Yeah. Class is keyword.
Okay. I want you to tell me how you are identifying anything as a Java keyword. There will be some reasons, right? How you are identifying any word as a Java keyword. Can you tell me that? See, I'm sure that you know that there are 50 Java keywords.
Yes.
Okay. Why we are telling them as a keyword? Any idea?
The all having some behavior functionality to for identifying, because class is unique. We can identify this is a keyword. Uh, there is a specific reason to use class, because uh, we can't replace that by using any of the things. So this is a unique thing. We can say that this is a keyword.
Okay. And what about the class name? Can class name be your keyword?
No,
Okay. What is that?
it should be some any other name like Anu, demo. This is identifier to identify. This is a unique name should be there.
Yeah, it is an
Keyword can't
identifier.
be a class name. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Anu, you have heard about this tokens? Tokens in Java. Have you heard about them?
Yes, I have heard about this, but uh, I could not recall this.
No issue. No issue.
Can you let me know, please?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. See, if you see any Java program, right? If you see any kind of Java program, maybe if it is a two-line Java program or if it is a 1,000 line of Java program, that whole program is nothing but consisting of tokens. Your token is nothing but it's the smallest unit of any program. So token is nothing but in token we have multiple things. Now in token we have keywords which you already know what it is, right? In token we have
Yeah.
identifier which you already know what it is. In token we have literals. Do you know the meaning of literals?
No, sir.
Okay, literals are nothing but in literal we can have string literals, any string value that you are using. In literals we can have
Yeah.
those things.
Integer value.
Whatever the
Yeah.
value you are using, right? That is nothing but a literals.
Like literals means we can say that string value, integer value, like
Exactly,
variable.
exactly. Though values that are used in the program are nothing but literals. You have comments, you have operators, all this.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Your program is consisting
Yeah.
of your comments, your operators, your literals, keywords. Your
Yeah.
class is consisting of that only, right? So that is called as
Mm.
tokens. So fine.
Okay.
Let's move to the next question then. I want to understand from you, like, let's say that you are working on some application now, and you are already working on it from last 1 year, let's say, and being the business analyst of your company, I give you a new feature on the existing application, and you are the only software tester that I have in my company. Let's say that, and I give you the newly feature on the existing application. I want to know your approach. How will you proceed your testing?
On the particular application, I will first of all check the new features of the functionality. Basically, I will do the regression testing I will check the because of new added new functionality whether my unchanged part is impacting or not.
Okay. Now, I
And
want
we
to ask
also
something
look.
before. I mean, we have just added a new feature. So you are going to test first regression, or you are going to first test the new feature.
I will first test the new features of the functionality.
Okay.
Then I will go with the regression testing for the other unchanged functionality.
Okay. Okay. You sent me on a high level. I wanted you to tell me little deep, like if you are receiving a new feature on the existing application, being a software tester, how will you proceed your testing?
Okay. Um, First of all, I will look for the user story and client requirement, and I will test according to the document whether it has been developed or not. Then I will check by if there would be any input that acceptance criteria would be there. There would be any like if it is field. Then I will check according to the client requirement, client documents whether it has been fixed properly or not. If there is any part that has been missing or not.
Okay.
Then I will perform there I will do the testing.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Uh, see,
If any extra functionality like there should not be extra functionality rather than client requirement. Like client wants something, there should not be added some other functionality to the application.
okay. Okay. Sure, Anupriya. See, I will tell you something. If anyone is asking you this question, right? Like, if this is a most common question that anyone will ask you, I want to ask you before answering this question. I want to ask you. You have 3 years of experience in software testing, right? Uh, till now, how many real interviews have you attended? Any idea?
Sorry, a real interview in the sense.
Real interview in the sense a real IT interview.
Okay. Sir, right now I did not attend the interview. I'm just trying to looking for the change. So I was started a preparation for the interview.
Okay, I understood this part, but you are working in some company, right? I mean, 3 years of
Yeah.
experience. You have worked in some company, right?
Yes. Currently
Okay.
also working with.
You're even currently you are working, right? Is it so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm asking the same question, like from starting of your career till now, how many real interview have you attended? Any idea? If you can tell me any number in your mind.
Sir, sir, when I was fresher, then I have attended 5 to 10 interview,
Oh,
and then I after 1 year of experience, I also attended like maximum 5 to 6 interview.
okay, sure. No issue. Got it. Got it. Fine. Let's move to the my answer then. So my question was, if you have an existing application, if I, and being a business analyst of that company, if I give you a new feature on this existing application, what will be your approach? So let me tell you that this is one of the most basic and common question that anyone will ask you if you're attending interview. So you have to follow your STLC. You know STLC, right? Software test lifecycle.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
tell me then now? You have to follow your STLC.
Yeah.
So I have given you the hint now. Now proceed with your answer.
First of all, requirement analysis.
Okay.
Then requirement analysis. Then we are going for test plan. Then RTM like requirement traceability metric. Then test execution. Then defect tracking, test execution report. Then we are going with the postmortem, yeah, RTM meeting.
Okay. Understood. Now you understood.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I was accepting. See.
Okay, yeah. Once I will get the new features added in the functionality, I will first of all collect the requirement. Then what's the client requirement? Then I will go with the plan, test plan, or I will no, I will create a test execute. I will develop a test execute for I will go with requirement testability matrix. Based on that, I will develop a execute test cases. Then I will execute the test case. Then if there would be any bug or defect, I will log that, and then I will prepare a test execution report. And finally, we'll be having a postmortem or a retrospective meeting with the senior members or senior test.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was looking for, or I was expecting. So now you understood how to answer this question?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Have you heard about array? Array. Array. Array in Java?
Yeah.
Okay, not the Hindi array. I am
Yeah.
asking the Java
Yeah.
array.
Array and collection. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I was asking, just let me know whether you know this or not. Just let me know. In a single array, can you add both integer value as well as float value?
Array. We cannot.
Okay.
No, sir. We can't.
Okay. Can I add?
Because array is fixed in size, so we cannot.
See, your if I add both integer and float, let's say, like, and if I give the size as let's say 5, can I add now? I'm asking you.
So you are passing int and float and giving the value only 5.
Yeah. Let's say I have size as 5, and on that I'm adding 2 integer value and 3 float value. Will array allow me?
No, sir.
Okay. What is the reason for that?
Uh, Array is fixed in size, or it is a fixed. We can't change the value.
I understood this, what you're telling. Just hold on. I will ask one more question. You said me it is fixed in size, right? When I'm using one integer and one float, how size is affecting? I'm not getting this. Let's say you have.
It would be a sign like you have to assign like a integer or int array. Then
No,
you're
just
passing
clear
the
me this doubt.
value.
You have an array, let's say of 5 size. 5 blocks are there, let's assume like that. And on this 5 sizes, on this 5 blocks, I'm adding 2 integer value and 3 float value. How it is impacting the size? I'm not understanding this. Or I think you're trying to tell something else.
Yeah. For array, we have to first of all declare the thing like which value we are taking, like it is integer value or it is a float or it is a double.
Okay,
We have to
let's do it.
declare first.
Okay, we can do that. And after that, can I pass them in a single array?
If you are declaring array as integer, then we are supposed to pass only integer value. If you are declaring array as a float, then we can't do that. We can't do.
Okay. Whatever you're answering is absolutely correct, but whatever you are trying to explain me is little wrong. So you heard about heterogeneous and homogeneous?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to relate it now?
I'm not recall that able to.
No issue. Let's say that I have an array.
I've heard about this.
Okay. Let's say that I have an array in which I'm trying to add all data from integer data type itself. It is called as homogeneous data because all of my data belong to a single data type. But let's say I have one more array and I'm trying to add one data from different data type and one data from different data type. That is called as heterogeneous data.
Heterogeneous data type. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, fine. And array does not allow you to do that. And that is the reason we have collections. You are able to relate it now?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you are connecting from mobile. That's the reason I'm not asking you to share your screen, because you will not be able to write a program. But I had a plan that I will make you to write a program, but that's totally okay. Now let me know, using, you have heard about array list? Any idea? I mean, I can see in your resume you have written it, so that's the reason I'm just asking you. Let me know if you know that.
Sir, yes, I know, but I don't remember
Okay.
this now.
No issue, no issue. See, no issue at all, Anupriya. That's totally okay, no issue. See, I told you, right? In your array, you cannot add heterogeneous data in a single. But when it comes to array list, you can, array list allow you to add all kind of data in a single array. That means it will allow you to add integer, float, character, string, anything you want. It will allow you to pass.
Yeah, that I think it support a duplicate value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is not I was looking for. I was asking whether you can pass heterogeneous type of data into array list or not.
Okay.
Fine, no issue. I just saw that in your resume, and that's the reason I was just asking you. Fine. I want to understand now. You've heard about multiple inheritance?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me something about it? Only multiple inheritance.
Multiple instance the does not support in Java. Like multiple instance, the one child class is inherit the two parents class.
Is it always
Like
true?
sorry, hello.
Yeah, I think your screen is
Now
hanging.
it's fine.
Your screen is hanging. There is no movement.
Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello.
you. I can hear you. But your screen is blocked. It is like paused. Yeah, yeah. Please tell me. Yeah, please tell me.
Okay, sir. Can you repeat sir, the question once again?
No issue. I asked you about the multiple inheritance.
Well, yeah. Um, yeah. Multiple inheritance is nothing but like one child class can inherit the uh, two parents class,
I'm asking, is
known
it
as
always true?
multiple inheritance. Uh, no, sir. It can be achieved by using interface
No, no, no.
in
What
Java.
I'm asking is, you said me right. There will be a single class inheriting the property from two superclass. So I'm asking, is it
Yeah.
always two, or it can be more than two?
If it is achieving like inherit two, then it can be also inherit more than two also.
Okay, sure. Please tell me, tell me, tell me.
Uh, yeah, does not support in Java, but it can support in Python, because JVM is getting confused and it leads to ambiguity problem. So that's why it's not supported by using Java.
Okay, you said me about the ambiguity problem, right? I want to understand what is that ambiguity problem. Can you tell me little detail about it?
Uh, like confusion, like if there is a one method and present in both the parent class, so that got confused, JVM will get confused which method from which class method you are calling and you are looking for. So ambiguity is nothing but confusion. JVM will get confused.
Okay, see, whatever you are telling is absolutely correct, but whatever the reasons you are giving is, I think you're trying to tell that if you're trying to call from subclass
Super class method.
constructor to the superclass constructor, you will call it using super, right? Super and
Yeah.
super. You know this, right? Super.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're calling it, it will get confused which class to invoke, which method to invoke. It will get confused. And you know
Yeah.
about the diamond problem? Diamond problem?
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell
Yeah.
me about it? What is
Yes.
diamond problem?
Yeah. That is only multiple inheritance is diamond.
Okay, here, if you tell in one line, right, no one will accept this answer. I mean, don't take me wrong. I'm just telling for your benefit.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Sure.
for every class that you create, right, in Java, any class that you create, it will always be the subclass for an object class. So what I'm trying to tell is,
Yeah.
object class is always
Yeah.
the superior, always the subclass for
Super.
any class that you
Super
create.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you said me at starting, right? Multiple inheritance, single is trying to inherit the properties from two,
Both
and this
parent class.
have a parent class as object. So this is creating a
Mhm.
diamond problem. So that is why the ambiguity comes. Fine, no issue.
Yeah.
So whatever I said, do you agree with me?
Yes.
Sure, sure, Anupriya. Let's move to the next question then. I want to know which bug tracking tool you're using in your company.
Sir, currently I'm using a Jira tool, but I have also worked on a TFS tool.
Okay. In your company, is anyone using project management tool? Project management tool, or you have heard about it? What is project management tool? Any idea
Sir,
about it?
project. I'm using a Jira tool to also like a project manager management tool. Like in that we can see on which task work is going on which task which is in priority you have to develop, tested, and client requirement is high priority.
Okay. Okay. Sure. I want to know. You have heard about bug release? If you have heard about bug release, I want to know whether it can be a part of your release note or not.
Bug release. Yes, it can be because might be so yeah, it should be.
Okay.
Because a customer should be aware about that the bug,
Okay.
whatever that has been left in application, and that can be no, fixed in further release.
Okay. Now tell me whether bug leakage should be a part of your release note or not.
No, sir.
Okay. You are telling me your bug leakage should not be a part of your release note. Can you tell me why?
I think might be I have tell opposite. Bug leakage is the which has left by the tester at the time of testing, and test and at the time of customer use, they found the bug.
Okay. So whether it should be a part of your release note or not?
No, sir, because it is the bug has been left by the tester,
Okay.
and
Yeah, sure. If some bug is missed by software tester, how can be a part of release note? Simple answer.
yeah,
Whatever you're telling is absolutely fine. I want to know which SDLC model you are using in your company.
agile.
Agile. Okay. Uh, who is a Scrum Master in your company?
Sir, there is a client.
Client is a Scrum Master in your company. Is it so?
Yeah, because because I'm working as a service-based company, and I'm working with some client, and client is from the client side. They are a Scrum Master.
Wonderful. This was, I mean, fine. This is wonderful. Sure, Anupriya.
Is it
That's all.
correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in service-based company, anything is possible. In product-based company, you can expect all the employees to be from the company itself, but in service-based company, anything is possible because you're working for someone else, right? They can be anything. They are the boss. I mean, they can be anyone. You're working in the same company, you will be knowing better than me, right?
Yeah, we have a Scrum meeting every day to let the Scrum Master know what we have done yesterday, what we are going to do today.
Okay. Okay. Anu, I want to know whether you are aware of API testing or not.
API testing.
Yeah, you are aware of that?
Yes, sir. I have worked for a particular month, like 2 to 3 API tests,
Okay.
like Postman tool I have worked on.
Okay. Sure, Anupriya. So that's all from this session, Anu. It was nice interviewing with you. If I have to give any suggestion from my side, I will say that you are good. You know basics well. And if I have to give some suggestion, I think that don't take me wrong, but I think that in automation part, you have not practiced much. You have read it theory part. Don't take me wrong. I'm just giving my suggestion to you. I can be wrong.
Yeah.
You can be correct. No worries. So I feel.
I have
Well,
Yeah, I have more experience in like manual. I have just started working with automation like the past 6 to 7 months.
okay. Yeah. I can see that. No issue. No issue. But I'm really happy that you have at least started it. I'm really happy for that. I'm really happy that you have started working on automation. That's really remarkable. So, as I said, you're right. I can see that you have more knowledge on automation as a theory part, but not practically, is what I understood. But that's not a demerit. At least you have started learning it. That's awesome. I will also suggest you that I could figure it out that you have covered your core Java basics and
Yeah,
you have left collection part. So I could figure it out. So I will advise you to cover even your collection part. I mean, understanding it, not just theory, but even practically. That will really help you. And if your company is not allowing you to work on automation in the company, if your company has no platform where you can work on automation in the company, then I will advise you to work in your own system. In home, you will be having laptop. In case
yeah,
you're having a laptop of office, that's absolutely okay. You can pick any website from any website from the internet, any website you can take it. You can try to automate it using any framework that you would love to start with. Maybe TestNG for starting, or you can
yeah,
start with page object model. I believe it's not a framework, but you
yeah,
can start with that. I think that will really help you. And just because you have started learning automation now, in case in future if you're attending interview, so what you can do is you can just share your screen to show them whatever the automation script you have written for you, and that will be really plus point for you. So you can show them the automation script that you have written for your practice. So that this is a suggestion from my side. I could figure it out that you're good in manual testing. Yeah, but I will still suggest you that go through manual testing concept once again. Just revise it once and you are done. Nothing more. But concentrate more on core Java, collection, and Selenium thoroughly. In case if you have less knowledge on API testing, then I will suggest you in my channel there is a playlist called as API testing, API
yeah,
application programming interface. In case you want to learn, there is no force from my side. You can just
yeah.
watch those 4 videos and you are good to go to add that point in your resume, and that's it. Because I'm guaranteeing you that if you watch that, you are good to add that points in your resume. So this is the suggestion from my side. You are happy with the suggestion? You think I was wrong anywhere?
No, sir, I'm totally happy. I'm totally agree with you.
Okay. Thanks, Anu. I mean, I was little scared interviewing you. You were little serious to me. I mean, I could figure it out that your smile was totally missing. I wanted you to smile and attend the interview. I could not say at starting because I was scared of you. Don't take me wrong.
No, sir,
I'm just
it's not. Yeah, sure.
don't take me wrong. Sure, Anu. You have any suggestion for me?
Yeah, thanks for giving chance. I would like to say, and yeah, you are doing a really good job and great job. After giving a mock interview, I just feel like very confident. And yeah, you are uploading a nice video. Also, I have watched that most of the video and interview also. So then I thought I should also give a mock interview. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Anupriya. In case in future you need any help from my side, you can just put out a mail to me and I will definitely reply to you. Nothing to worry about.
Uh,
And yeah, that's all. I wish you a good health and good future. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that just because I have motivated you today, I'm sure that you're gonna work hard and you, if you're searching for a job now, I'm sure that you will get a new job very soon.
so thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anu. Take care.
Thank you,
Good.
sir. Nice to talk to you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.